Hello everyone, good morning, good evening, good afternoon. I hope all of you are doing good. This is the weekly market update live stream. If you're new to my YouTube channel, please make sure to subscribe to it. Please make sure to like the live stream. Also, if you're not following me over Twitter, 𝗟𝘍𝗶𝗵𝘁, this is my Twitter handle. I occasionally post market updates and calls over my Twitter account as well. So please make sure that you are following this handle, 𝗟𝘍𝗶𝗵𝘁. And finally, if you would like to receive more organized updates and calls, you can always join in the Discord server. The link you can find in the description of this video. So let's start with the market update part. First of all, I'm just going to give you a brief overview of the positions that we have open. We have one leverage position open on 𝗟IA. Price is trading almost at the entry point. So if you're not in this position, or if you are someone joining from Twitter, if you are someone joining from Telegram, you do not have any idea about this position, then you can enter at the market price. We regularly do these scalps in the Discord server. So this is a scalp position which I shared yesterday. Price has been consolidating around the entry point for the past 24 hours. I remember almost 2 days ago, we took three scalps. Almost all of these three scalps hit the TP just in a matter of an hour or so. But this one has been consolidating around the entry point for almost 24 hours. You can see that on the hourly time frame chart, there is a small descending trend line, meaning that it is expected that price will be breaking above this trend line in the next few hours, right? So price is trading at the entry point. Price is trading at this higher time frame, not exactly the higher time frame, but at the hourly time frame support. So please make sure that if you're not in this position, you can enter at the market price. There is no DCA. It's a very simple trade that we are in. Entry point is 0.17475. If you would enter at the market price, then obviously you would have a lower entry point. Stop loss is 0.15806. So please make sure to keep some room for DCA, but overall the trade is looking fine. You can see that there is a small descending trend line on the hourly time frame chart. So it is expected that price will have a break above this trend line probably in the next few hours or so. So this is the only leverage position that we have open, by the way. And apart from that, we have, these spot positions open. Nothing really has changed with these spot positions. Price has been consolidating around the entry point for all of these spot positions for the past, 13 days, I would say. These spot positions, I remember we opened back on 11th and 12th of October. So it has been almost like 10 to 11 days that price has been consolidating at the entry point. So if you are not in these spot positions, you can enter. The ones that have this red tag added. For these ones, stop loss was already moved to break even, so that is why these positions are no longer valid. But apart from that, these spot positions are valid. Not these ones, QNT, AIOT, ARC tag. These are not the valid ones because these are the scalp positions which we opened, 2 days ago. In fact, this morning, I missed the position on AIOT. This was a very good position. You can see that the hourly time frame breakout happened, so it was an easy position at this breakout candle. But I just missed out on this one. If you guys remember, we took the very same position 2 days ago when this breakout was happening. So yeah, it happens. You would have to, if you are scalping, especially on the hourly time frame chart, you would have to constantly keep an eye on, uh, you know, the list of top gainers and top losers. It's not an easy task. You would have to once again keep an eye on this list, constantly, which is again, somewhat difficult thing. You can alternatively use this platform also, Coin Glass. You can go to the market option and then you can go to the top gainers and top losers. You would find it, yeah. So top gainers and top losers, you would just use the hourly time frame chart and you can see what are the coins that are in the top gainers or top losers. I have recommended this in the previous live streams also that shorting the top losers, it's not really a good idea, but you can actually go long on the top gainers. All you have to do is just wait for a breakout above resistance on the hourly time frame chart. It's not that difficult. You would at least find one or two coins every single day that would just end up breaking above these resistance level. In fact, just this morning there were like 3 to 4 different coins that had a break above the resistance level. Unfortunately, we missed out some of these moves. We are stuck in this position for ARIA. But yeah, you can see that this one had a breakout. This one also, gave an hourly time frame breakout. Tag also had a breakout. We entered into this position. We took the first TP at 8% move, then got stopped break even. I'm not a big fan of, by the way, opening positions at the same entry point twice. So yeah, this was a position that we for which we moved the stop loss to break even, and then it later got stopped break even. So yeah, it's not super difficult. You can easily find out these entries in the top gainers and top losers list. This coin also, you can see that on the small hourly time frame resistance, it had a breakout. All you have to do is just wait for the hourly time frame breakout. One candle close needs to happen above the resistance level, above the hourly resistance that you are targeting. And the next most important thing is that what kind of resistance it is. If price has given fake outs above this resistance level multiple times, then it's not a very good idea to get into that position. But if it's a clean level, if it's an all-time high, if it's a clean level that has not been retested before, or alternatively price has a history of respecting that level, then you can simply just wait for the hourly candle close and then place your stop loss slightly below the hourly time frame level that you are targeting, and then you can just ride this whole move. Same is the case with almost all of these positions. EPT also, you can see that. And remember another very important thing. I'm a big fan of the retest trades, but while you are scalping, do not try to execute the retest trades, because when the retest is happening, the momentum already has decreased a lot, and it may not really be a good idea to get into that position when price is just going down. The majority of the people, they would have already exited these positions, and there is going to be a significant risk while you are trading these coins that are in top gainers or top losers list. Okay, let's just continue let's just continue the discussion with this. If you guys obviously don't mind, let me know in the chat box if you guys would want me to continue with the market update part, or if you would like to explain me a little bit in detail how exactly the scalping thing works, right? Just let me know in the chat box. So I was saying that while you are scalping on the hourly time frame chart, you don't really have to use 3 4 confluences. Just one confluence, that is more than enough. And that confluence is going to be support and resistance. Remember that dynamic lines, they're not really going to work. Trend lines, they may work to some extent, but you wouldn't be taking the position, or you wouldn't be finding the entries based on these trend lines. Dynamic lines, they're never really going to help you out. For example, 1 day 12 period exponential moving average, that is a 1 day 12 EMA. There is no use case of 1 day 12 EMA on the hourly time frame chart. Same is the case with the quarterly VWAP. Now there is going to be a lot of data packed into the quarterly VWAP. Even if we talk about the exponential moving averages, like 200 period exponential moving average, 100 period exponential moving average, that's a lot of data packed in one dynamic level, right? Which means that it's not really going to help you a lot. The most important thing, which in my opinion is very useful while you are scalping, is the SR levels. And it's not like price would always give respect to these support and resistance levels. There are going to be instances in which price would simply just give a fake out above these resistance levels, and then it would just fall back under the resistance level. So in order to avoid these kind of situations, the method is very simple. All you have to do is just go with the coins that are actually giving respect to these levels. For example, EPT, let's just take an example of this coin called EPT. You can see that it's a very it's a kind of a very noisy SR level. Price has given multiple fake outs above this level, so that's why you would just like to altogether avoid this coin. But in comparison, if you would take a look at XPN, you can see that price is trading at its all-time high. The definition of an SR level, it's very simple. All you need is a all you need are 3 point of contact. So if price has given a rejection at a certain level 3 times, that is your resistance level. If price has given you a bounce at certain level 3 times, that is your support level, right? In this case, you can see that it's a newly established level. Price is already trading at its all-time high. Price just had a break above the all-time high. Even if there was no established resistance at this level, it still would be acting as a resistance. Remember that the definition of resistance would be 3 rejections. But even if there was just only 1 rejection, because it's an all-time high, naturally speaking, price would be reacting at this level. And you can see that this was your all-time high. Price precisely went down to this level, gave a reaction at this level, and then there was this bounce. And I would give you one more bonus tip, which is going to be very useful, which I have never really seen anyone really talk about, which is going to be really useful while you are scalping. It's going to give you an alternate point of view. on any of these charts. Once again, it's going to be extremely useful. So please make sure that you're watching this whole video till the end, because towards the end I would be giving you that bonus tip. So I was saying that you don't really have to use dynamic levels, you don't really have to use trend lines. If there is a trend line present on the hourly time frame chart, if there is a breakout happening, then okay, you have one extra confluence, but that's fine. It's not really going to define your entry point. The one thing that would define your entry point is going to be a good support and resistance level. While you are scalping, you wouldn't have enough time to take into account 3 4 confluences. You wouldn't have enough time to wait for all of these confluences to align in one direction. When you're working with the 4 hour time frame chart, you have plenty of time, right? Breakouts and these upside moves, they are not really that impulsive on the 4 hour time frame chart, right? Things on the 4 hour time frame chart, they're going to be slow. Same is the case with the daily time frame chart as well. But on the hourly time frame chart, if a coin is already in the top gainer list, it basically means that a lot many people, they are already looking at that coin. And once it gives you one hourly close above that resistance level, you would hardly have 5 to 10 minutes, I would say, to find a good entry point. You can see that in this case, the hourly candle close, there was no wick down to this level. Price just straight went up, and it has given you almost a 60% move so far. The main advantage of trading, I would say, or the main advantage of working on the hourly time frame chart with these top gainers or top losers is that you wouldn't really have to remain in these positions for, like, 2 3 days. The basic problem with the swing positions is, yes, they are more reliable positions, right? There is less chance that a manipulation would happen. For example, if I get into a swing position right now on any of these stable coins, by stable coin, I don't mean the actual stable coin. I mean to say the coins that are relatively stable, the coins that would be moving along with Bitcoin. Then you would have to wait for Bitcoin to make a move. I mean, a lot is going to depend on Bitcoin. But with these top gainers and top losers, because they are moving on their own, right? They don't really care about what's happening with Bitcoin or what's happening with the crypto market in general. So you would easily be able to catch a move. So even if Bitcoin, let's say, makes a move all the way down to 103,000, a coin that is already in the top gainer list, a coin that has already given an 87% move in the past 24 hours, that coin is literally going to remain unaffected, right? 1337DLB is asking, did you cover Bitcoin? No, I did not cover Bitcoin, but I would be covering Bitcoin in the next, like, 10 minutes or so. The main update part will be starting shortly. I'm just giving you a brief overview of these scalps that we are taking, because I always wanted to have this general tutorial, or I always wanted to have this general guide for, all of you guys, so that you could just have all these questions answered. Because in our Discord server also, a lot many people have different kind of questions about these scalps. So I would just give you a brief overview and honest opinion about how these scalp positions work. Finding an entry, finding the right coin to trade, it's very simple. You can either use this platform, Coin Glass, or you can simply just create a watch list in TradingView, Bluffin futures watch list. You can see that all of the coins that are available for future trading on Bluffin are added in this watch list, because Bluffin is the exchange that we promote. Bluffin is the exchange that we recommend to all of you. If you would like to register on Bluffin, make sure to use the link in our bio, and you can sign up using that link, and you would have certain incentives by using that link. So I was saying that it's very simple. You have to keep an eye on all of these top gainers. You would have to constantly use this button, rank these coins as per the percentage change positive. And the time frame that you have to use is the hourly time frame chart. The confluence that you have to use is support and resistance. All you have to do is just draw a resistance level, wait for one hourly candle close above the resistance level. Or if you think that momentum is good enough, right, I would be explaining to you that part also. But if you think that momentum is good enough, you can even drop to, let's say, 30 minutes time frame also. And by the time the candle close is about to happen, as I mentioned before, it's going to you would literally have 2 to 3 minutes to enter into that position. A lot many times people say that, why did you not give us any heads up? Why did you not tell us that we are about to enter into this position? You would hardly have 2 to 3 minutes to enter into a position. You can see that in this situation, the hourly close happened here, and then price just in the next 2 hours made a move of 60% to 70%. So you wouldn't have enough time to get into these positions. You can even drop to the smaller time frame chart also. But to do that, you would have to be like really, really sure that momentum is on your side. You can use a few other confluences also, extra confluences like open interest. I'm not going to talk about that, like the funding rate, the open interest. We will be talking about that part in maybe some other live stream, but open interest also serves as a good confluence. If a coin is going up, open interest is also going up, then you would have a decent idea that people are actually getting into more positions. The coin is catching momentum, and uh, you know, uh, I should be able to catch a good move towards upside. Uh, Wait for the hourly close above the resistance level. As soon as the hourly close happens, or let's say 20 seconds before the hourly close, or 10 seconds before the hourly close, when you know that, look, price, the hourly close is about to happen above this level. There are certain instances I have seen this happen like quite a few times, that even just 10 seconds before the hourly close, the candle looks healthy, the candle close looks like it's about to happen above the resistance level, but in the next 10 seconds you would see that price just immediately goes back under this resistance level. So you would have to keep an eye on all of these things. Wait for the hourly close. As soon as the hourly close happens, enter at the market price, place your stop loss below a low or slightly below the support level that has now been flipped from resistance into support, and you just have to catch a decent move and make sure that the coin already is gaining momentum. you know do not try to trade the coins that have only made, let's say, 4% 5% move, because 4% 5% move, if Bitcoin, let's say, drops 2% 3%, that 4% 5% is going to disappear immediately. You need to target the coins. You need not to target the coins that are already up, let's say, 50%. You need not to target the coins that are like that are like at plus 5% or something. You need to find the coins that are in 10% to 20% price bracket, right? And make sure that the rest of the market, it is not in that bracket. For example, just 2 days ago, when Bitcoin made this move from 108,000 to 112,000, 113,000, most of these big market cap coins, also almost every other coin in the market, was up 10%, right? Then in those kind of situations, you would need to find the coins that are up almost 20% to 30%. But I would say that anywhere between 12%, 13%, 14% to 30%, 28%, 27%, that is a safe range. You wouldn't really want to go with the coins that have already gained a lot of momentum. You wouldn't really want to go with the coins that are up only 5%, 6%, because no one really is going to look at these coins. you know Market conditions, the main advantage is that the market conditions, they do not matter. And you don't really have to bother yourself with the universal question, with the most tricky question. Do I have to go short or do I have to go long? You don't really have to bother yourself with that. If you're trading the top gainers, you obviously have to go long. You just have to use one confluence, you just have to use one time frame. You don't really have to use multiple time frames, you don't really have to use multiple confluences. Placing a stop loss is really easy. The actual confluence is really easy. It has to be a good hourly time frame candle close above the resistance level. Get into that position. And once again, I've said this multiple times that having your margin stuck in these positions for a long enough time is actually more damaging to your trading, is actually more damaging to your portfolio, in comparison to if, let's suppose, you take 2 3 trades and all of those 2 3 trades hit stop loss. That is going to be less damaging in comparison to a trade that is giving you a constant fear, constant panic. You are stuck with that position, that position is not going anywhere. But with these scalps, the main advantage is going to be, even if it hits a stop loss, it's going to be in the next 2 to 3 hours. But you have to be like really, really careful. There are a lot of different variables, and by variables, I mean to say that whenever a coin would hit the top gainers or top losers list, it basically means that everyone is looking at that coin. People, the reason why that coin is going up. Now, this is the most important question that I want all of you to listen to very carefully, right? This explanation that I'm about to give you. Whenever a coin hits a top gainers or top losers list, we are mainly going to talk about the top gainers coin. Whenever a coin hits the top gainers list, it obviously means that people actually bought that coin for whatever reason. It could be the pump and dump thing, it could be some news, it could be some narrative, it could be some project, it could be literally anything, right? It could be simply just a buy signal by a big community. I don't care about that. The problem is that whenever a coin hits the top gainers list, it basically means that not only everyone is looking at it, but there are always going to be people who bought before you enter into that coin. So let's suppose, XPIN has already made a 70%, 80% move. There are definitely going to be people who bought maybe somewhere around this place. And these people, they have already, and let's suppose you're entering somewhere around here. Now imagine that the coin has already given you almost a 34% move, and you tell me with all honesty that if you are in a leverage position, or even if you're in a spot position, the coin has already given you 34% move, 35% move. How many of you are actually going to not take profits off that position? Just let me know in the chat box. If the answer is yes, then obviously you are foolish, you are stupid, because the coin already has given you 35% move. You would at least take 1 or 2 TPs of that position. You would at least close 50% to 60% of that position, because you are doing the scalp. You are not waiting for a 200%, 300% move. You should be happy with, you should be content with, let's say, 40% to 50% move, and that too is happening on a scalp position where the stop loss is not going to be too huge, and you're working on the hourly time frame chart. So the point is that people, there are always going to be people who would be early in these positions, and they would obviously try to take profits of these positions. And remember that the second most important thing, hardly you would see that a coin has a, let's say, $2 billion market cap, $3 billion market cap, and it's giving you let's say a 100% move, 200%, 200% move, 300% move. Even let's just talk about this coin that has given almost a 97% move in the past 24 hours. Let's take a look at the market cap of this coin. Let's take a look at the market cap of XPIN. What's the market cap of XPIN? So the market cap of XPIN is around 153 million. And if you would take a look at the market cap, the volume in the past 24 hours, you can see that it's $147 million. The market cap is 153. The volume in the past 24 hours is $147 million. And I'm damn sure that there has been almost a 50 to 60% increase in the market cap during the past 24 hours, right? So, so it's very important that you are looking at the name of the coin itself also. It's not possible that a coin that has, let's say, a $4 billion, 500 $5 billion market cap, or $10 billion market cap, it's not possible for that coin to give you a 2x move just in a matter of 1 hour or so. Until and unless it's a very unique situation, until and unless there is something really happening with that coin. Even if there is a large announcement, even if there is a big announcement, even if there is something like really bullish about that project, really bullish about that coin itself also, it's not possible. If you look at the dynamics, if you look at the maths and everything, it's not possible for that coin to just give you a 2x move, 3x move just in a matter of an hour or so. Which takes us to the most important part, that most of the coins that you would find in these lists, top gainers, top losers, are mostly going to be in this bracket, 50 million to 200 million, 300 million market cap. Which means that if it's a 50 million to 100 million, 200 million market cap situation, and if someone, let's say, bought at this level, they're up already 34%, 35%. And remember that it's not easy for a coin to go up 30. It's not even easy for a 200 million market cap coin to move up almost 34%, 35%. You can see that the volume in the past 24 hours for this coin is 147 million. Okay, so it's going to take that amount of capital to move a coin, which means that there are a majority of people who actually bought this coin. I don't know about the news. I don't know why exactly this coin is going up. I would not want to bother myself with that. Being a trader who is, basically trading based on technical analysis, you should not really be concerned with what's happening in the outside world. Obviously, if there is a major macroeconomic event, that is really important. But regarding these bullish outcomes, regarding this bullish news about the noise, sorry, about the coin and the project itself, you don't really have to bother yourself with any of that. You should be focused on the information that is available right in front of you, in the form of the chart, in the form of these candlesticks. So if someone bought, let's say, at this level, they're up almost 35% on their position, they're naturally going to take profits off their position. And once, let's say, price just gives you a decent move, and a very good example you can see around here, the coin was up almost 70 to 80%, then you see immediately a 39 to 40% wick. Now, all you have to do is just be on the opposite side of it. You don't really have to get yourself into a situation Obviously, it's a very unpredictable sort of situation. You just cannot really do anything about that. We have faced this situation not long ago. I guess it was a month ago or so, when we were in this coin called BUSDT. It gave a decent move, had a break above the resistance level. We were in that position for like 1 or 2 hours. Then suddenly coin gave a 30%, 40% move towards downside. So first most important thing that is going to be helpful in this situation is the stop loss. So you should always have the stop loss in place. I have done this mistake quite a few times, in which I completely forgot to put the stop loss. Okay, ARIA, this one is breaking out above the trend line, so make sure that you are in this position. You can enter at the market price also, because price is actually trading at the entry point, and it is actually trading at the entry point, so you can actually enter at the market price also. So I was saying that the coin that we traded almost a month ago, it went down just in a matter of 1 minute. It went down almost 30 to 40%. A coin that we traded, just 2 to 3 days ago, and please remind me the name of that coin. I guess it was ARC. So ARC, let me show you the chart for that coin. We traded this coin, you know on the hourly time frame chart. This is how basically the wick was looking like. I remember when I was trading this coin, I guess it was 15 minutes time frame. Yeah, I saw the 15-minute candle, and I said to myself that, look, the momentum is good. I don't really want to miss out on this position. If I look at the historical data also, price has given respect to this level. Look at this chart, right? Price has almost always given respect to this level, so this could be a good position. Obviously, if you would stick to the rules, okay, that's very simple. If you would stick to the rules, you would not enter into this position, because the hourly candle close did not happen above this resistance level. It's very simple. You don't really have to bother yourself with any of the technicalities. But if you are a little bit impatient, and sometimes all of us are impatient, you wouldn't really want to miss out on the move. You have, let's suppose you have been waiting for the right position for the past 1 week or so. You did not have any good entry, you did not have any good trade, then you are more prone to making these mistakes. But anyways, we saw this position. The candle close, the 15-minute candle close happened, and I was like, no, I don't really want to miss out on this position, so let's just get into that position immediately. The result was that, we entered into this position. Our entry point was maybe somewhere around here. We were able to catch almost a 22%, 23% moves just in a matter of, like, 15 to 30 minutes. And then what happened next? The coin went down almost, you know uh 30 to 40%. Yeah, almost 40% in the same hourly candle. Okay. And I remember, you know I updated in my channel that take TP1, move stop loss to break even I forgot to move the stop loss to break even, because I had to update the position. And I forgot to move the stop loss to break even myself, and I closed that position and lost. So this is going to happen a lot many times with you guys, specifically while you are scalping. Moving stop loss to break even, or having a stop loss in place, is the most important part. Okay, because these coins, they can easily go down 70 to 80% just in a matter of 1 minute or so. I can show you countless examples for this. ARC is one example. BUSDT, I just gave you an example for this coin also. These coins, a lot many people, they're already looking at these coins. There is a lot of manipulation happening. If a coin has given you a 40%, 50% move upside, it can as easily give you a 40%, 50%, or even 99% move downside also. you know Look at this coin, which is already in the top gainers list. Just in the last few hours, it gave you 70 to 80% move in one hourly candle. In fact, in one 15-minute candle, it gave you a 40 to 50% move downside. Then now again it's up almost 90%. So this is a situation that you would encounter while you are trading with these coins. There is nothing much that you can do about it. You have to do scalping. You have to use the hourly time frame chart. You're working on the smaller time frame chart. And while you're working with top gainers, it's very simple that you would encounter the coins frequently that have a small market cap. By small market cap, I do not mean to say a $1 million, $2 million market cap. I am trying to say 50 million, 100 million, 150 million, which is not a very small market cap, but it's a mid market cap range. But the thing is that this market cap range can be very easily manipulated, and you are looking at a coin that is right at the top of the list, that is up almost 90%, 80%. People are already early in this coin, and they're definitely going to take profits off their positions. Even if there is no manipulation, there is definitely going to be a situation of panic. Even if, let's suppose, one person tries to close their position, We know that even if one person has a $50,000 position, they try to close their position at the market price. They are stupid enough. They would try to close their position at the market price. Price could easily go down almost 10 to 15%. As a result, there is going to be a panic situation, and the rest of these people, let's suppose, they would also try to exit their position. People, let's suppose, who entered somewhere around here, they would have the stop losses getting hit. They would be getting liquidated. They would be panic closing their position. So, all of these different variables you cannot take into account. All of these variables you cannot control. The reason why I wanted to respond to all of these questions is because I was getting a lot of questions after that trade that we took, that, hey Sherlock, what exactly happened here? Did you take profits of your position? Did you dump this coin by yourself? No, I did not do that, right? It's not that simple. I did not do that, and even if I wanted to, I just cannot move these coins by myself. That has a volume of, let's say, $147 million. So there are a lot of things happening with these coins. Even if I wanted to manipulate these coins, I just cannot do so, because once again, everybody's looking at these coins. Coin is already in the top gainers, so no one really knows who could manipulate this coin or who would unintentionally manipulate these coins. So yeah, make sure that while you're working with top gainers, your best friend is going to be a proper stop loss. Make sure that you do not have a soft stop loss. Make sure you do not have a manual close stop loss. You need to have a proper stop loss, even if it's a 15% below the entry point, even if it's 20% below the entry point. I do not care about that. That's completely on you. Make sure that you move the stop loss to break even immediately. Make sure that you try to be less greedy on these positions, because you never know what exactly could be happening. When a coin is up, let's say 4%, 5%, you are in a swing position. No one really is looking at that coin. That coin would slowly move with the rest of the market. That is a very, very stable kind of a situation. This is not a stable situation. You are targeting a top gainer, and you are going after a situation in which the majority of the people, they're already in. They can easily dump that coin on your heads, and that's why it's going to be extremely risky. So yeah, I've tried my best to respond to all of the questions related to these related to the scalping thing in general. If you have anything specific, make sure to let me know in the chat box. Position limits exist on exchanges. You physically cannot move coins that much, and that's not true. That can also be manipulated very easily. I'm not here to give you a tutorial on manipulation, so I'm not going to get into the details of that. But position size limits, they are just I would say they are just there for the uh y- y- you know on to keep people crossing those limits. And they are just a surface level thing. You can easily get past those limits. I mean, it's not that difficult. Let's suppose that if you have $1 million portfolio, or even if you have $100,000 in your portfolio, you can, instead of opening a 10x leverage position, you can just easily use 2x, 3x also. I mean, it's that simple. No exchange is going to stop you from opening a 2x leverage position. Even if the limit is $25,000, you can easily open a $300,000 position. The obvious limit is that you would have to use your own capital. Exchange is not going to lend you the rest of, let's say, 200,000, 250,000. You would have to use your own capital, which automatically means that you would have to use lower leverage. So yeah, these limits, you can easily go past these limits. And most of the times, even if there is a, let's say, spot buying happening, you can easily go past these limits. And in the spot positions, situation is even more terrible. Situation is even more fragile, because if you would try buying in spot any of these coins, you can actually end up getting the worst entry point, because with even if it's a $100 million, 200 million, 300 million market cap in spot, the price of the coin can be very easily manipulated. Because remember that with leverage, you may not be physically opening a position on that coin. You may not be physically buying that asset. I'm not going to get into the details of that, although everything is perfectly balanced on these exchanges. But with exchanges like Mexi, with some of these other exchanges that have a B book, that are B booked, that are not A booked, spot buying, it can definitely manipulate the price. It's definitely going to affect the price. But leverage position, even if it's, let's suppose, a 50 million market cap coin, and you are opening, let's say, $1 million position on leverage on a B booked exchange, it's not really going to affect the price of that coin, right? It really depends on a lot of different factors, but that's how it basically works. With multiple accounts, no, you don't really have to use the multiple accounts thing. With these scalps, even if even with swing positions also, I use multiple accounts because of the position size limits and because of so many other variables as well. But with these scalps, someone did ask me if I use multiple accounts. No, I don't, because you don't even have enough time to open a position on multiple accounts. And I'll be honest with you, with these scalps, you don't even have enough time to open a bigger position size. And this is exactly what I do. I usually I usually open a small position, and then I share the trade in my channel, in the Discord server. And then when the price stabilizes a little bit, then I would open a bigger position size, because that is more favorable to me, instead of situation in which I would just jump with, let's say, $50,000 into that coin. Price could just easily go up 5%, 10% in a matter of few minutes, and that position is no longer going to be favorable for you. That position is no longer going to be favorable for me. I would have the worst possible entry point. I just cannot share it with you guys. Coin is up already 10%, 12%, and you have the worst possible entry point. So that's why you just have to, with scalping, you just have to take into account all of these different factors. It's not that simple. Anyways, let's see if this one gives us a breakout or not. At least we are seeing a small breakout sort of a situation, a small hourly time frame trend line. If you guys have any questions on this, make sure to let me know. Now we are going to move to the update part, the main thing, the update part. The stablecoin dominance is a chart that we are going to start with. We are going to start with the daily time frame chart. You can see that on the daily time frame, stablecoin dominance, first of all, this is the higher time frame support range. I wouldn't really want to go on the Bitcoin chart. The reason is because on the Bitcoin chart, uh, you have the 1-day 12 period exponential moving average. Even on the Bitcoin chart also, it's very simple. I would try to break it down for you, in the simplest possible words. If you're looking to open a long position on Bitcoin, short positions, it may not be that favorable. But if you're looking to open a long position on Bitcoin, you have three possible choices. The first choice is that you wait for the sweep of the major swing low. Just go and watch the live stream that we did the last week also. We defined the range. The major swing low is at 98.2K. The major swing high, it is at 125,000. The last all-time high, that is your major swing high, that is your major swing low. All you have to do is simply just wait for the sweep of the major swing low, and that is going to be a perfect long opportunity. A very similar situation we encountered back on August 5th, 2024 also, in which price did give a sweep below the previous major swing low, when Bank of Japan decided to increase the interest rates, and we had this dump overnight during the Asian market session from 58,000 all the way down to 49,000, if you guys remember. And that was a sweep of the previous major swing low. And that was the only time in the past 2 years when we came close to having a change of character on the Bitcoin chart. Apart from that, past 2 years have been absolutely bullish for Bitcoin. And I'm sometimes surprised when people say that, when exactly the bull market is going to start. We have been in the bull market for the past 2 years. October 2023 was when this bull market started. It has been almost 2 years. 15th of October 2023, when almost all of the signals flashed. 28,000, we had a breakout above 28,000, and soon after that, in the next 2, 3, 4 months, in January 2024, you had the ETF approvals. Then Bitcoin started going up, 74,000 all-time high. Then rest is all history. It's been 84 years. Yeah, it's been 84 years for the altcoin market, actually. This is what you can say. That's where the situation gets a little bit tricky. But because with the altcoin market, you haven't really seen anything much happen. Even with the Ethereum situation also, by the way, we will be talking about Ethereum chart also. I still have to give you that bonus tip. It's really important. That bonus tip is going to be really useful for you. So I would recommend that you guys watch this live stream till the end. And 60 plus people are watching the live stream, and only 20, even 19 of you have liked it. I would really appreciate if all of you are able to just subscribe to the YouTube channel and make sure to like the live stream also. So regarding Bitcoin, situation is very simple. If you're looking to open a long position on Bitcoin, my humble advice to you would be that do not bother yourself with these smaller price moves. Okay, if you're trying to trade this chop, then you would get stopped out, you would get liquidated. If you have a high leverage position open, there is no point trying to trade this situation in which price is giving you these multiple fake outs. price is just trading in the very same range. And I believe that in the next 2 to 3 days, or even in the next 24 hours or so, you are going to see a major breakout. And I will tell you, I will tell you exactly why, there could be a major breakout. First of all, if you are waiting for a good long position, a solid long position, you have to wait for the sweep of the major swing low, or the sweep of this low right here. This is a significant low, but this is not a major swing low, but this still is a significant low. If there is a sweep of this low, you can enter into a long position. But if you are waiting for a very good long position, then the sweep of this major swing low is going to be really important, because this will give you a swing failure pattern. I'm working on a PDF on the swing failure pattern topic. I'll be sharing with you guys very soon. It's taking longer than expected. I know that, I said this probably last week also, that the PDF will be ready in the next 1 week or so, but because of, because of all these different tasks and everything, it just sometimes gets really difficult to work on these PDFs, on these guides, etc. But my team is already working on these PDFs. They send me the final draft, and then I have to review the final draft, and I have to make changes in the final draft. So yeah, it's a lengthy process. But coming back to the topic, the sweep of major swing low, because remember that if you have a close below 98.2k, then the situation is over already for you, right? Forget about the altcoin. Bitcoin would enter into a bear market. Something that has not happened for the past 24 months would happen once price gives you a daily close below major swing low. But let's just not talk about that, because it has not happened as of yet. It's a very far-fetched idea. So, let's just not talk about that. Previous major swing low sweep is an absolute good long position for you. You know, Imagine if you had bought Bitcoin, or if you had taken a long position on Bitcoin back on 5th of August 2024, when the daily close happened at 54,000, and then price never ever went below 54,000. We had a move all the way up to $126,000, right? So imagine what would have happened if you had done that. You would be able to retire your whole bloodline. So something similar may happen in this situation also. Previous major swing low sweep has only happened once in the past 2 years. Previous major swing high sweeps is a very common thing. One has happened around here, a very good short position. One has happened around here, another very good short position. You can see that 124,000 all the way down to 102,000. So sweep of major swing low is your first chance. Then the sweep of this low is your second chance. And then a not so good chance, which is, more or less based on day-to-day trading, is if you have a close above this level, right? And I would explain to you that part from the stablecoin dominance chart. But first of all, notice how price on the Bitcoin chart is struggling to break above this yellow line. This yellow line is 1-day 12-period exponential moving average. Until and unless we get a break above this level, the break below this level happened back on 10th of October, when this big dump happened, when this flash crash happened. So until and unless you have a close above this yellow line, which is 1-day 12-period exponential moving average. Look at how beautiful this is, because this last rejection just happened, an hour or two ago, was again at this 1-day 12-period exponential moving average. You can see that this close was not above 1-day 12-period exponential moving average. This was again a fake out above 1-day 12-period exponential moving average. So until and unless a break and close above 1-day 12-period exponential moving average happens, you wouldn't really have this third chance to get into this long position. And make sure that you keep an eye on this black line also, this 1-day quarterly VWAP also, because 1-day quarterly VWAP is a very important level. The reason why price was not able to recover immediately after this 10th of October crash was because of this black line 1-day quarterly VWAP. Price was never able to recover beyond this level. And then the second culprit is 1-day 12-period exponential moving average. But again, this part is going to get slightly confusing for you. Do I have to wait for the close above 112,000, because that is also a resistance? Do I have to wait for the close above 1-day 12-period exponential moving average? Do I have to wait for another resistance level, which is at the quarterly VWAP? So, for the first two parts, the sweep of major swing low or the sweep of this swing low, it's really easy. All you have to do is just wait for the sweeps, and then wait for the candle closes on the daily time frame chart and get into a long position. Place your stops right under the next low that happens. For example, in this situation, if price gives you a sweep like this, the close happens somewhere around here. This is your next low. Enter into a position, place your stop loss under this low, and you're all good. You can easily catch this whole move towards upside, which will happen over the next few days. The next part, which is about the closes and all that, I would like to explain to you from the stablecoin dominance chart, because the situation on stablecoin dominance is quite simple. On the Bitcoin chart, it's slightly complicated. On the US dominance chart, it's very complicated because the level that we are dealing with on the USDT dominance chart has a lot of fake outs. And if you guys remember 2-3 days ago when Bitcoin made this $113,000 move, I did mention this thing. I did explain that do not get baited because USDT dominance frequently gives fake outs below this level. Although it's a decent level, but if you would go back in time, you would see that lots of fake outs have happened below this level. So that's why, I would not really want to look at this level. I would instead want to take a look at the stablecoin dominance chart, and you have multiple other options. For example, total chart also. Then a few other charts, but stablecoin dominance is the most reliable chart in this situation. So regarding the stablecoin dominance chart, we are moving in this range. Very simple. This is your resistance level. This was a big deviation above resistance. This was a deviation retest. And now this is a range that we are moving in. The range starts from 8.4% and goes all the way up to 9.16%. I guess we are not bothered with the resistance part. If the reclaim of this resistance happens, then it's a very pathetic situation going. It's going to be a very pathetic situation. But let's just not assume that part. Let's assume the part in which price is still on the stablecoin dominance chart. Price is still moving in this range. you know Very simple. Just like Bitcoin is facing rejection in the form of 1-day 12-period exponential moving average, this chart is finding support in the form of 1-day 12-period exponential moving average. The first part. The second part is that, the good part is that in the case of Bitcoin, you immediately have the resistance in the form of 1-day quarterly VWAP. But in the case of stablecoin dominance, the 1-day quarterly VWAP is quite far away, so you wouldn't really have to bother yourself with anything else. All you have to do is just wait for the daily close below 8.42% level, and that's when you could be sure that, look, Bitcoin is about to make a move, so I should be getting into long positions on altcoins. The reason why I explain this, please listen to it very carefully. Opening short positions right now may not be that favorable. I have been saying this for the past 2-3 weeks. I remember, I understand that, for some of you it may be getting a little bit frustrated, but opening short position at this point could easily turn into a situation in which you are shorting the bottom of this whole move. And the second most difficult part is that if you look at the Bitcoin dominance chart, Bitcoin dominance is going up. So I just completely understand that you would have a reason to take a short position. And there is a catch with Bitcoin dominance also, actually. Even though Bitcoin dominance is going up, has made a cute, perfect reversal, but there is a catch with the Bitcoin dominance chart also. Now understand that with you would want to open a short position because Bitcoin dominance has now a bullish structure. It has a nice double bottom pattern. It has been making a move towards upside. It's sitting above the support. So you have all the good reasons to take take short positions on altcoins. But what has happened in the last few days is that Bitcoin has been constantly trying to break above this $112,000 range. Okay, although we have not been able to do it successfully, but you have seen that every time Bitcoin makes a move, altcoins are up 10%, 15%, and the other difficult part is that almost all of these altcoins are already sitting at their higher time frame support levels because of the dump that happened back on 10th of October. So if you were doing the short positions before 10th of October, when everything was up, everything was trading at resistance, Bitcoin was trading at resistance, and a lot many of the Bitcoin dominance was sitting at support, it would have automatically made sense. It would have definitely made sense because you would be taking positions, short positions, when Bitcoin is at resistance, Bitcoin dominance is at support, others.d is at resistance, total 2 is at resistance, total 3 is at resistance, others is at resistance, others BTC is at resistance. All of them are forming these nice cute double top patterns. And with altcoins, they're also sitting at resistance level. You are sitting at the highs. So at the highs, it would make sense for you to take a short position. But the problem right now is that altcoins are sitting at support levels. Okay. And if you take a short position solely based on the fact that Bitcoin dominance is making a move towards upside, then Bitcoin can as easily make a move towards upside also, right? And when Bitcoin makes a move towards upside, let's just take the example of that move which happened 2-3 days ago, $113,000 move. Almost every single altcoin, even these big market cap coins, were up almost 10%, 15%. and you cannot afford to have a 10%, 15% stop loss on these short positions. That's going to be very risky situation, until unless you are managing risk very carefully. So that is why, opening short position is a little bit of a tricky situation right now. And the difficult part is that we are sitting at the lows. Even if we end up going lower from here, we are sitting at the support, we are sitting at the lows. And that's why, in my personal opinion, it's a tricky situation for opening any short position right now. For opening a long position, yes, you have the option, right? You have the option in which a sweep of lows happens, because if we close below 98.2k, then you would have a solid reason. You would say that, to do hell with everything, to do hell with all of these things. Forget about the structure, forget about Bitcoin dominance, forget about anything. Just imagine that if you were taking short position back in 2022, nobody would have said anything to you, because all of us knew that, we are in a bear market. FTX is happening, Celsius is happening, this is happening, that is happening, Gemini is, filing for bankruptcies, in all of these big companies, they are going bankrupt. Everything is crashing. It would have definitely made sense for you to take short positions back in 2022, and for some part of 2023 also. But right now, it may be a tricky situation. If we break below 98.2k, you would have to take short positions anyway, because once price starts moving in a downtrend, there are going to be these frequent upside moves, there are going to be these frequent retracement waves, but the actual move is towards downside. So you would have a solid reason to take short positions. Okay, just try to understand this very carefully. Opening a short position when the overall market is still bullish is always a tricky situation, is always a risky situation. So I don't care if Bitcoin made a move from 125,000 all the way down to 102,000. The invalidation point, I'm not talking about Bitcoin, by the way. You can actually take short positions on Bitcoin, but obviously it depends on your trading strategy. I remember back on 6th of October when I came back from Singapore, the first update that I gave, I told all of you that, look, Bitcoin has a swing failure pattern. If your trading strategy allows you to trade a swing failure pattern, you are all good to go. Make sure to just go ahead and take that short position, because it's a swing failure pattern. You have to place stop loss just above the swing high. You wouldn't have the market structure confirmation. You wouldn't have confirmation from the market structure side, but at least you would have the best possible entry point. And this is what trading is all about. You would always have to compromise on one of these things. Either you would have to go with the confirmation part, or you would have to just go with the risk management part. You would have to go with the risk to reward ratio part. If someone shorted Bitcoin at 126,000, 125,000 just because there was a swing failure pattern, they placed a stop loss right above this level. It was just a 1%, 2% stop loss, right? This is your short position. I'm sorry. This is your short position, right? This is your short position. This is your stop loss. And, this is, let's say, your TP. Look at this. It's an 11 to 12 risk to reward ratio. Let's say your TP is 98.2k. That is still a 13.6 risk to reward ratio. you know but let's say if you're waiting for the confirmation part, you would have to wait for the break below 98.2k. That is not going to give you a good risk to reward ratio, but that would give you a structural confirmation. So people who wait for structural confirmation, they would criticize people who trade based on some other trading strategy, let's say swing failure pattern, and they would say that, look, you guys are just shorting an uptrend. It absolutely makes no sense. You would get liquidated eventually. And there have been instances where people actually got liquidated. I know a lot many people who were constantly trying to short Bitcoin at 100,000, at 98,000, at 88,000, at 78,000, in the hopes that this is going to be the top. But let's just face the reality that no one really knows for sure where exactly the top is going to be. So you would have to compromise on one of these factors eventually. Now that's completely on you which one you would like to go with. So back to the stablecoin dominance chart, I was saying that opening short positions, it may not make sense right now, on altcoins as well, because in this bull market, I have seen this happen so many times that price breaks below a support level, flips it into a resistance. You take a short position because of a breakout, even because of the consolidation part, and it eventually turns into a fake out. you know it eventually turns into a fake out, because the reason is we are in the bull market. It easily turns into a deviation below support. Someone would look at it and he would say that, look, this is just a deviation below the support level. You are the crazy person to be shorting this whole move, because every move downside which happens in a bull market is actually a retracement wave, is not an impulsive wave. You cannot just take a short based on that. So you have to take into account all of these different things that I'm talking about. It's a very important live stream. I would recommend all of you to even watch this later on when it ends, because a lot of information has been conveyed in this live stream. So back to the stablecoin dominance chart. Shorting may be a little bit risky, even if altcoins are down a lot. And this is exactly the difficult part, right? Altcoins are already down a lot. You know, most of these altcoins are already down 80%, 90%. They can obviously go another 80%, 90% down from here. But the thing is that you are trying to short something that is already down 80%, 90%. You are not early. First of all, let's be clear on that part. Someone who shorted, let's say when the coin was down 40%, 50%, that person is early. You cannot be early in this situation. But you can easily get caught up on the opposite side, in which you would be shorting the bottom of this whole move. And this is what I'm actually worried about. They could go to zero. Yes, they could go to zero. Theoretically speaking, they could go to zero. That's why I'm saying that they could also go another 80%, 90% down. But this is not something which happens quite often in this market. And as long as we are in the bull market, you just cannot, theoretically speaking, you would always be doing the wrong thing shorting in a bull market. Theoretically speaking, you would be doing the wrong thing, depending on the trading strategy. If you have an altogether different trading strategy which allows you to take a short position even in the bullish market, then you are all good to go, right? So regarding the stablecoin dominance chart, I would say that wait for the break below this level. Okay, wait for the break below this level. In terms of structure, nothing really is gonna change. In terms of structure, we are still moving in an uptrend on the stablecoin dominance chart. Another important question that I would like to respond to is it's people saying that, look, stablecoin dominance is moving in a bullish trend. USDT dominance is moving in a bullish trend. So why does it even matter if Bitcoin is moving in a bullish trend? Bitcoin will eventually catch up with both of these charts, and it will eventually start moving in a downtrend. It will eventually break below 98.2. That's not true, because Bitcoin for the past 2 years has never ever given you a change of character towards downside. It has never ever given you a move towards downside. It has never ever given you a daily close below the previous major swing low. Sweep happened back on 5th of August, 5th of August 2024, but the close never really happened. And the sweep only happened once. Remember that also. There has been only one instance in which the sweep of the previous major swing low happened, which was back in August 2024, 5th of August 2024. But alternatively, with stablecoin dominance and with USDT dominance, these structural changes, even on the daily time frame chart, are really, really common. Okay, even I can show you just in 1 year that the stablecoin dominance structure has flipped multiple times. The USDT dominance structure has flipped multiple times. So Bitcoin structure has been completely intact for the past 2 years, but these charts that are correlated with Bitcoin, they had a lot many of these different structural changes for the past 2 years. So that is why do not compare them directly with Bitcoin. Do not compare the structures directly with Bitcoin. It's quite possible that stablecoin dominance would start giving you a bearish structure in the next few days, and then again give you a bullish structure in the next few days, because it's very common to have structural changes on the stablecoin dominance chart. So the structure on the stablecoin dominance chart, it's not going to flip easily. Okay, you would always be at the certain risk. But at least if we see some slowdown of momentum, I would like to explain you what exactly I mean by slowdown of momentum. Let's say that price is moving in an uptrend. This is your impulsive wave, corrective wave, impulsive, corrective, and impulsive wave. There are certain instances in which, look, this is your major swing low, this is your invalidation point. Even if price is not giving you a break below the previous major swing low, price is trading somewhere around here. This is your major swing high. And these are your external structural points. Anything that's contained inside these two boundary levels, it's completely irrelevant. But in terms of internal structure, there are instances where price would just start giving you these lower lows and lower highs. Okay, even though they're irrelevant, but they are not completely irrelevant. The time frame is still daily, structure is still internal. In terms of external structure, it's still an irrelevant structure, but sometimes you start getting these early structural changes in terms of internal structure. So even if stablecoin dominance, remember that on the stablecoin dominance chart, the external structural level is this one. Okay, this is your major swing low, and this is your major swing high. Anything that's contained inside is the internal structure. But the problem, sir, is that even the external structure is bullish. Sorry, the external structure is bullish, but even the internal structure is also bullish. You know, so maybe if we start seeing something like this, in which at least the internal structure gives us some confirmation, some possibility that look, there are lower lows and lower highs forming, not higher highs and higher highs and higher lows forming. Because right now the structure is higher highs and higher lows, which is a kind of a tough situation. So I would say that, break below the 8.4% level, daily close, 4-hour close below 8.4 to 4% level, that is going to be a trigger to get into swing long positions. We have been waiting to get into swing long positions for at least last 12 days or so. And, I'm focused mostly on the swing. I'm focused mostly on the, yeah, so this coin is giving you a breakout. If you still did not take the position, then it's bad, because I I asked you guys to enter into this position. Price was trading somewhere around here. It's a good breakout on the hourly time frame chart. It will slowly give you a breakout. The overall structure is looking good to me still, because price is sitting at the support. So regarding stablecoin dominance, break below this level. Another good part is that we have this on the daily time frame chart. It's not completely confirmed. You do not have the three possible point of contacts, but at least on the 4-hour time frame chart, you still have this ascending trend line. And we know this thing already, that where there is a trend line, there is always going to be a breakout or breakdown. Since it's an ascending trend line, one thing is for sure, with 99.9% certainty, I can tell you that there is going to be a breakout. Okay, now it depends if it's going to happen in the next few days or if it's going to happen in the next few hours. But there is definitely going to be a break below this trend line. It's going to be a very impulsive break below. We have seen countless examples on the Bitcoin chart as well. But a slightly, more concerning part is that we also have this descending trend line as well, which essentially means that we are not just having an ascending trend line, but also a descending trend line, and we are moving in a very narrow compressed range. Okay, we are moving in a very narrow compressed range in which volatility compression is happening. So only a matter of time that you get to see a break towards upside or downside. But I would say that since the ascending trend line looks slightly more prominent, much more prominent in comparison to this descending trend line, so there is a possibility that in the next few days, or in the next few, not exactly next few days, but in the next few hours, maybe 24 to 48 hours, 2 days or so, you would see another small dead cat bounce happen here, and then eventually it's going to be a break towards downside on this trend line, which is going to be a very simple long trigger for you. So first long trigger, sweep of 98.2k. Second long trigger, sweep of 102k. The low that happened back on 10th of October. The third long trigger, instead of focusing on the Bitcoin chart, focus on the stablecoin dominance chart and wait for the break below this level. But one thing is sure, that we are seeing a very high level of volatility compression, which basically means that the next few days, next 2 to 3 days, there is definitely going to be a break upside downside, right? And it's going to be a volatile break. And make sure to choose the direction very carefully. It's going to be very much similar to what we saw happen back on 10th of October. I can already sense that, I can already see that. And I'm hoping that it's upside, because I can already see that a lot many people, although a good majority of people are skeptical also, they are on the sidelines also. Good majority of people, they're calling for the top also. But at the same time, a good majority of people are overconfident also. They are opening unnecessary short positions also, with liquidations at 115,000, 116,000. The last upside move that happened, with price going up to 112,000, was mainly triggered because of this. I was looking at the liquidation data, and there was a big amount of short liquidations present at 112, 113,000. So it was kind of obvious that price would try to take out these people. And there is a good majority of people, some overconfident people, who have the liquidation prices around 118,000, 117,000. So I would love to see price going back up to that level. And we know that, the next support, it's quite far away. And there is a possibility that price may actually go and revisit the 117, $118,000 level. But I'm not sure if that's going to happen before the sweep or after the sweep. This is a very difficult question, the $1 million question. But I'm hoping that, uh, longs are still going to be favorable. Bull market is not over yet. But let's just talk about the structure of Ethereum also. I'm just going to keep it very short. I'm not going to take much of your time. It's been already 1.5 hours. And by the way, 60 plus people watching the live stream, all only 36 of you have liked it. We have a very small number of people who actually like these live streams. I don't exactly know the reason, but you guys are too shy to just press the like button, smash that like button. So the another chart that we have to talk about is the chart for ETH. I updated this as well in my channel just yesterday, in which I mentioned that I do not like the fact that, by the way, this is a chart for Ethereum against USDT dominance. I'm just going to keep it very simple. I do not like the fact that Ethereum USDT dominance chart is trading at this trend line. In the past, this trend line has proved to be the bottom for Ethereum. This is a very good support that has not been retested on this chart, but I do not like the fact that price is sitting on this trend line. It's a very risky situation that price is constantly bouncing at this trend line. This one last bounce at this trend line is actually a situation which makes me believe that there could be a move towards 1 or 2k, a sweep of 1 or 2k, because Ethereum is giving all these signals. It's not good if price is giving you these smaller bounces on the daily time frame chart. The first big bounce, the second big bounce, and then this third bounce, fourth bounce, these are smaller bounces happening. If you would take a look at it on the 3-day time frame chart, then it's not a very good situation. And Ethereum so far has not really given in any significant move upsides. I have a sizable position open on ETH, almost a $500,000 position, but I'm still just waiting for some decisive move upside on Bitcoin to to get an idea about if I have to de-risk that position or not. But my humble suggestion to you would be that if you have a leverage position open on ETH, especially if it's a long position, please try to de-risk that position, because Ethereum could easily have a break below this trend line, and it could easily go back down to this 596 level, which is the July 11th level, which is going to be $3,000 for Ethereum. And Ethereum, because it has not retested the $3,000 level, so it's quite possible that it will go back down and give a retest at the $3,000 level. Regarding Bitcoin dominance, the catch that I wanted to explain to you was this trend line. First of all, remember that Bitcoin dominance is moving in an uptrend. Structure change has happened on Bitcoin dominance. Support is holding good on Bitcoin dominance. That's why you have to be cautious with any long positions as well. No matter if you believe that Bitcoin is making a move upside. A good point to take a long position could be once this resistance gets retested, but there is also an ascending trend line on the Bitcoin dominance chart. So I'm expecting something like this in the next few days. The only reason something really is not happening soon is because of the volatility compression. We already had a big upside move on 10th of October, similar to what we saw happened back on 4th of April, 5th of April, when Trump announced the Liberation Day tariffs back on 2nd of April, I guess. And then for the next 20 days or so, price was just consolidating. Nothing really was happening, and then the next major move towards upside happened. So something similar might be happening in this situation also. Bitcoin dominance, I'm assuming that it will give a rejection at this resistance, and then it will break below this trend line. But at least the good part is that Bitcoin dominance will also have to eventually break below the trend line. Same is the case with stablecoin dominance also. It will have to eventually make a move towards downside, and let's just wait for that part. Crack a joke, you will get more likes usually. Lennon is saying. Okay, give me a suggestion about the joke, because I don't really know any jokes. Okay, so if you guys have any questions, just let me know in the chat box. If you believe in fractals, you should check out ETH from 2021 and measure the dumps and pumps from July 21 and April 25 and compare it very identical. Perma Bear is saying. Perma Bear, my daddy is saying. Okay. Uh, you know, I do believe in fractals, but I also do believe in the logical fractals. The reason I'm saying is because these kind of fractals that depend mostly on timelines, that depend on the facts that look, back in 2021, 1080 days after the halving, Bitcoin made the all-time high. So something similar is going to happen. 1080 days have already passed, in this cycle, since halving. So that's why Bitcoin is gonna make a move towards downside. The top has already happened. I do not believe in these kind of fractals. So the kind of fractal that you're referring to, the dumps, the percentage of dumps, the percentage of retracements is somewhat similar fractals. That, in my opinion, is not a very good example. But yeah, if you insist, we can definitely check that out. Okay, let's take a look at the fractal that he is referring to. Ethereum. Okay, let's use this chart. Okay, so we don't really have to remove the drawings, but let's go to the daily time frame and let me know which fractal you are referring to. Could you be more specific about it? From 2021 and measure the dumps and pumps from July 21 and April 25 and compare it very identical. So back in 2021, the dumps from July 21 and June 2025. Okay, July 21. What was the dump in July 21? There was a pump back on July 21. So what exactly do you want me to compare? Do you want me to use fibs? Do you want me to use the percentages? What exactly are you uh, looking at? No halfway. Okay. From June 2021. My man, what exactly are you trying to say? Be more specific about it. Till August. June 2021 till August 2021. Okay. The top was back in November 2021, not in August. This was August. The top. This is the top. It was November 2021, not August 2021. August top. This was the top in August. Okay. Sorry, this was the top in August. No, this was in September. This was not in August, this was in September, right? Is this what you want me to do? This was also in September. This was in August. Again, I don't really understand what you're trying to say. Maybe you can just send me a chart in the Discord chat and then I can take a look at it. Yes, September. First you say July, then you say June, then you say August, then you say September. Okay, fine. It's September, right? This is the top. And what exactly, how exactly is this relevant here? If we use the same 132%, okay, 132%. This is 132%. And what's the next fractal that we have to take a look at? June 2025, okay, to August. But the previous one was in September. This one is in August. But anyways, August, that is again a 132% move. Uh-huh. Is this the fractal that you're referring to? Okay, hear me out on this. If you are someone who has a background in mathematics and statistics, this is something that you would refer to as a coincidence. This is not something that you would refer to as a fractal. Fractal is a mathematical term. Remember this thing. And you do not have enough data to say that, look, back from how is this similar? This one was from June to September. This one is from June to August. No similarity, right? The only similarity is both the moves are 132%. And my question is that how would you know, for example, if you were looking at this fractal, You would say that the top is going to happen in September, right? How would you know when price is trading somewhere around here that this is the top? Looking back at things, everything makes sense. You know, in hindsight, everything is right. But when you are actually sitting at, let's suppose if you were actually sitting at, um, what the fuck happened? Oh, come on. Oh, anyways, I was saying that, in when you look back at these things, you may find these kind of fractals every now and then. But my point is that it's difficult when you are actually sitting right at the top of it, and you are then trying to make the decision. But obviously you can be true. We do not have enough data, in my opinion, to back that up. We do not have enough data to say that, look, this is a working fractal. But yeah, there is a similarity. June 2021 to September 2000, but that wasn't the top. Okay, remember that also. That wasn't the top. June 2021 to August 2021. This one is June 2025 to September 2025. Sorry, previous one was June 2021 to September 2021. This one is June 2025 to August 2025. This is a difference. That one was 132%. This one is 132%. That one was not the top, but you are saying this one is the top. So, how exactly is this similar? 80% left till 6,000. Yeah, I really hope so. We have something left till 6,000, 7,000. I really hope we have some upside left, because Ethereum literally hasn't done anything. If you compare the chart for Ethereum against stablecoin dominance, against USDT dominance, against Bitcoin, like nothing really has happened. Against USDT dominance, you can see that Ethereum's chart against USDT dominance is not even is not even at 2021 levels. 2021, not 2021. Sorry, is not at 2021. You are making me confused, honestly. How do you say how do you pronounce the name of a century? Is it 2021? I literally forgot how to pronounce the name of a century. It's 2021, right? Guys, let me know. It's 2021 or not 2021. It's 2002, 2000. Yeah, it's 2021. Yeah, it's 2021. Do you ever try to short top gainers? No, we used to do that. Kyle, if you are someone who has been trading with me since 2021 since 2022, you would remember that we used to short top gainers back in 2022 because it made sense back then. If you are shorting something, if you're shorting a top gainer in a bear market, it absolutely makes sense. I would not recommend doing so because this is the bull market. Shorting something in the bear market, especially a top gainer, makes sense absolutely because it is a top gainer. Something is going against the overall market direction. A top gainer is going against the overall market direction because the overall market is downside. Overall market direction is downside. That top gainer will eventually move towards downside, in a matter of like few hours, in a matter of few days. So, all you had to do was just find the right spot. Okay, that which was obviously risky. Shorting top gainers was equally risky back then also. But all you had to do was just enter into that position at the right time, and you just had to ride the whole move downside, the 99% move downside. But with this market, the main risk is that it's not that simple. The coins could give you a move downside, let's say 40% move downside, and then they can easily give you another 80 to 90% move upside also. So if you're, let's say, shorting somewhere around here, you would be able to catch a move 23%, then immediately price would be up 23% back again in the next hour or so. So yeah, this is something which is difficult. Both are correct. Okay. Check out RVV. What's this coin? RVV. If you're looking for a scalp or something, then remember that it has to reclaim this resistance. I would like to see price going back above this level. It's not exactly a resistance because for resistance you need 3 point of contacts, But let's take a look at the alternate chart as well. Yeah, you have to wait for price to at least reclaim this level. Quite simple it is. At least an hourly close above this level, I would say. Then it's going to make sense. Otherwise, do not try to trade this coin. Just an hourly close above this level, an hourly close like this, and soon as the breakout happens, you would get into a long, place your stops right under this support, wherever a significant low is, and then catch the move upside. What is your opinion on, okay, chart wise and project wise? I do not know about the project and I may not be the right person. I used to trade that coin a lot, almost like a few months ago, but let's take a look at the updated data. I have no idea about the project. You can see that I have historical SR levels drawn on this chart because I used to trade this chart a lot, but the chart is not looking good. You know, you can see that it's a massive, massive, some patterns also there are, and the overall chart is not looking good. It is trading under this big, big resistance level. So until and unless it reclaims this resistance, which is not likely, I would say, seems really difficult at this point in time, makes no sense to me to get into this coin. You see that after that 10th of October flash crash, it's very much dead right now. And literally it looks like a massive giant inverse head and shoulder chart pattern. Sorry, head and shoulder chart pattern on, let's say, the weekly time frame chart, which makes it a very risky investment right now. So, stay away from this project. You can see that it's a massive head and shoulder pattern. Trador. Is it the name of a coin? If you could just give me the symbol. Ah, this is the symbol. I'm hearing the name for the first time actually. Wow, it's listed on Bluffin also at least. Okay. I guess we did try to trade this coin. But yeah, this is a good example on the hourly time frame chart. Scalping, you can see that you have to wait for the hourly breakout, then place your stops right under this level or slightly under this level, something like that, and then you have to catch this breakout. But the project looks dead right now. At least it's sitting on support, but you can look at the price action for yourself. Nothing useful here. Price is just sitting dead at this level. If it breaks below, then it's pretty much game over. Deep book, please. Yes, I remember that time when was shorting gainers. Even he used to long low market cap gems, and yeah, exactly. Prime Trader, what's your Discord username? I don't really see too many people from that from that time who used to trade with us. A lot of KuCoin gems we used to trade. No, I don't. What's your Discord username? Okay, let's take a look at Deep Book as well. What's the ticket for this coin? Is it Deep? No, it's not Deep, I guess. Deep Book. Make sure to drop the symbol as well, guys. Deep Book. Okay, it's Deep actually. The only time I have seen this coin go up was when DeepSeek was launched. Yeah, there used to be a lot of hype for this coin. But right now it's trading under this level. Let's just draw some renewed SR levels. This is your resistance for deep, and it's right now trading under the resistance, which makes it a risky position. But if it reclaims this resistance, you can see that it could be a good opportunity. It's a decent opportunity if that happens. This is actually a very good level. You can see that price has given respect to this level. Even with break below, it's retesting the resistance, and this could be a good short position, I would say. But stop loss is wide, stop loss is huge. So, avoid that. Instead, wait for price to reclaim this level, and then it could be a good long opportunity. You know, there is probably going to be one trend line also. Yeah, if it gives you a break above this level, which will happen eventually, then you would have a very small window to get into this coin, and you can catch the breakout upside easily. Captain here, okay, prime trader. Ah, happy to see you here, Captain. You guys make sure to like the video. No, they're not gonna do that. They're too lazy to do that. 50 plus people watching, still, most of them have not liked it. Do you mind answering my question as well? Dr. BPM is saying. Dr. BPM, could you please repeat your question, drop your question again? Electron back then, yeah. If you remembered me as Electron, then you were probably in this community called Exian. Exian. That's where I started from, if I remember. That was my first community, first or second maybe. Coin Bureau. Okay, that's a big YouTube channel. How long have you been in crypto? Since 2017-18. That was my first exposure to crypto. Dying Electron, yeah, not exactly Dying Electron, but my username in Exian was Electron. It still is Electron. I still work in Exian. Any chance we get a scalp today, given so many opportunities? I am actively looking for that. Believe me on this. I have been looking since 9 a.m. in the morning for a good scalping opportunity. The only one which I saw, which I noticed, was this one, AIOG, the coin that I just showed you, and AIOT, and yeah, this one is already up. Yeah, we already missed out this position. This was a nice breakout. You see that the hourly candle closed and then price went up. But with these top gainers, and especially since you're trading on the hourly time frame chart, they can be another opportunity in the next 1 second or so, in the next 1 minute or so. And look at this coin, it just made a move towards upside, but no, there is no opportunity on this one, because historically price is not giving respect to these levels. So you just have to find a coin. Bell was another one, not so good SR level, but still, that was still a reasonable opportunity. If you guys see any breakouts, just let me know. How much of spot portfolio should be in stables right now? Basically, how much exposure should we have? Um, it really depends on the coin that you are investing in. With Ethereum, I would say that even if you have bigger part of your portfolio exposed, then it's not really a big deal, especially if you are in spot. Remember that we're talking about spot, not the leverage positions. I'm talking about spot with Ethereum, and with some big market cap coins. Even if you are exposed a little bit to the market, then that's fine to me. Like, do not overexpose yourself, but it's fine. But it's not the kind of situation where I would say that, it's the bottom. I'm damn sure about that. You should be actually deploying all of your stables, because looking at the Ethereum chart, it can easily go back down to $3,000 level. Looking at the chart for XRP, for example, if you would ask me, if you should invest into XRP, 10 days ago, situation was different. We had a massive deviation. But right now, remember that the deviation retest is going to happen on the XRP chart. So you should have, and if there is a deviation on the XRP chart, this is a very good support level, and it can easily give you almost a 34%, 35% move on XRP, and it's 90% chances that it's going to be a successful one. So in these kind of situations, you should have a good supply of stables available, so that you're able to do DCA into your existing positions. I would say that, out of 100% spot portfolio, 30% to 40% you should have deployed already. 30% is a safe range, 20 to 30% is a safe range, 40% is a more aggressive one. you know just keep the rest of 60% intact. As soon as Ethereum gives you a retest of $3,000 level, a lot of altcoins could bottom at that point, and that is when you would have a much better opportunity. And that is when I would say that you should have, let's say, 70 to 80% of your portfolio exposed, deployed into the spot market. It won't, Sherlock, believe me. Ethereum down to $3,000 level. What makes you think it won't go to $3,000 level? You were the one saying that, you know, uh, the fractal that you just showed us. You are the one saying that the top has already happened. I have a big position open on ETH, so I would be more than happy if Ethereum, won't just go down to $3,000 level. But yeah, who knows? Sherlock, if you had 20,000 realistically in 5 years, how would you have using your current knowledge? I would mainly be, deploying that capital. Uh, you know, I know that it may sound like not a very reasonable advice, but I would use that for future trading. I would not deploy that in the spot market, especially in situation. If you had asked me 2 years ago, then I would have definitely said that, just buy one Bitcoin, you know, just buy maybe a half Bitcoin. But at that time, Bitcoin was trading at 15 to $20,000. You could easily just have bought Bitcoin at $15,000 and just kept the rest of $5,000 for future trading, and that $15,000 would easily be, $100,000 in the next 1 or 2 years. But right now, the situation is quite different. So I would say that keep that $20,000. With Ethereum, you could just buy like $5,000 worth of Ethereum or something like that. Just buy one or two ETH, but it's not really going to give you any huge returns. Remember that part also. So take your chances. Instead of going with shit coins, instead of saying that, just invest into some high quality projects and all that bullshit. I'm not gonna say that. There is no such thing as a high quality project, and it is extremely difficult to locate these projects. It is extremely difficult to be early into these projects. That's a whole lot of work, right? It's not an easy thing. I would say that take your chances in the future market, which is obviously, not less risky, but at least you would have a much better chance of getting something in return. With new crypto laws in UK, how are you mitigating the current situation? What crypto laws? What are the new crypto laws? Could you please explain this a little bit? I am in the UK, but I'm not aware of the new crypto laws. The bottom is in because you already had 30% dump, and we are probably going to 6K. Well, hopefully that happens. I'll be more than happy if something like that happens. As I told you, I have a big position open on ETH. COAI. That coin has been making a lot of noise. Why is this not listed on Bluffin? Okay. Yeah, so the classic pattern, soon after the listing price goes up, wait for price to go back down to 78.6, and you can easily catch a big move. Okay. I don't remember how many times I've said the same thing, but if price soon after the listing makes a move towards upside, take out your fib levels, draw the fib levels, wait for the move down to 78.6, and try to take a long position there. Apart from that, this is the resistance on the 4 hour, I would say. On the hourly also, if price reclaims this resistance, we can actually take a scalp long position on this one. Let's set an alert, but unfortunately this one is not available on Bluffin. So yeah, that is the difficult part. Let's compare it with USDT dominance also to see what's happening in terms of capital rotation. Yeah, something very similar is happening. Instead, I would say that wait for the wait for the break above the all-time high. Yeah, wait for the break above the all-time high. Even this could be a decent opportunity for you to get into a long position. Yeah, it's not a bad opportunity at the market price. On the chart itself, it may look not not so good, but if you draw the support slightly differently, then it's not too bad. Yeah, not too bad, but it's risky. Wait for the reaction. Wait for market to just give you a reaction and then just decide. But I obviously avoid trading these kind of coins. Just like I told you, avoid trading these coins at the retest because the momentum could already slow down a lot. Try to trade the coins, especially while you are scalping, try to trade these coins at the breakout. Went 5% up in 1 minute. Wow, okay. 5% up in 1 minute. Where is BNB in that list? I don't see BNB in this list. You sure BNB made a 5% move in 1 minute? Because if it did, it should be somewhere in this list. Okay, let's hope this shit makes a move really soon. Trading view, okay. Uh, I'll check BNB also, but that's it for today. Trump just pardoned an ex-convicted Binance founder 𝗍𝗍. Okay, that's a big thing if he did that. Yeah, there was a lot of chatter going around that Trump is just going to pardon him for all the crimes that he has committed. Someone shielded. Which one are we talking about? BNB? No, I don't think so. So it's just the announcement that he was supposed to make. The announcement was supposed to be made at 3. It's not a big move. Yeah, 5% move. You are right, but it's not that big of a move. In fact, it's good to take a long position on BNB here, but I would just be a little bit cautious here because it's Trump. 𝗍𝗍 just got pardoned by Taco Head. Yeah. Okay, guys, that's it for today. I hope you guys enjoyed the live stream. Once again, a final request to all of you. Please make sure to press the like button. Please make sure to like the live stream. Uh, Subscribe to the YouTube channel. If you're not following me over Twitter, 𝗟𝘅𝗶𝗴𝗵𝘁, this is my Twitter handle. Make sure that you're following me on Twitter. I occasionally post market updates and calls over my Twitter account as well. And finally, if you would like to receive more organized updates and calls, you can always join in the Discord server. The link you can find in the description of this video. And the link to our our Bluffin referral link also you would find in the description of this video. Thank you so much for joining. Take care. Have a great week ahead. Bye.